At a time when the Gu clan was thriving, powerful figures from the clan secretly established a spatial wormhole with the headquarters of the Boundless Fire Domain. However, some spatial issues arose during the construction, and it was clear that a considerable amount of time would be needed to resolve them. As a result, Xiao Yan and the others had no time to return to the Boundless Fire Domain and could only wait quietly for the start of the Yao Clan's grand event. Meanwhile, outside the Gu clan, the other ancient 6 clans were unaware of the situation within the Gu clan. The Yao Clan's pill refining event was also in full preparation, and it was likely that soon, a top-tier competition for pill refiners from across the Dodi continent would take place within the Yao Clan of the Doyun continent. Elsewhere, within a grand hall under the influence of the Soul Hall. This place, known as the Soul Master Hall, was more of a special space than a typical hall. Inside, it resembled the ancient realm, vast and magnificent, stretching for dozens of miles. The area was shrouded in gray, and the entire sky was filled with an eerie silence, devoid of any life. It was as if the entire domain was completely empty, like a blank sheet of paper. Sol Ming, the 2 rulers of the extraterritorial evil clan controlling the Gu Abyss, have failed. The Gu clan's calamity has ended, and it's likely they will soon suspect that we, the Soul Hall, secretly colluded with the extraterritorial evil clan. Furthermore, many elders of the Soul clan are accusing you. If you are isolated, the vast foundation of the Soul Hall may... In a core area of the Soul Hall, for individuals, all with powerful auras, stood wearing black robes. A sinister, ominous aura slowly emanated from them. The leader, Sol Ming, was the Hall Master of the Soul Hall. Alongside him were Sol Yuntian, Master of the Tianzi Hall, Sol Yao, Master of the Dizzy Hall, and Sol Yan, Master of the Xuanji Hall. Now, the Hall Masters of the 3 halls of Heaven, Earth, and Mystery are all from the core of our Soul Hall. Let me speak frankly. Sol Ming, with a cold gaze, swept his eyes around. His gray robes only cast a pair of somber gray eyes, and he spoke lightly. Su Xiao, the Hall Master of the Huang Hall, stole our Soul Hall's forbidden technique scroll, Birth of Spirit from Ghost Communication. However, it seems he has been killed, and now the scroll is missing. Sol Yuntian, Master of the Tianzi Hall, said coldly, his voice filled with overwhelming murderous intent. That scroll was a true treasure of the Soul Hall. Now that Su Xiao had stolen it and vanished. What was even worse was that Su Xiao's presence had completely disappeared. According to their Soul Hall's experts, he had clearly been killed. Now, our Soul Hall is in a precarious situation. According to the latest news from the 10,000 Ghost Kingdom, the King of 10,000 Ghosts has taken on a human disciple named Mu Feng. Now, with the completion of his Yin Yang technique, he is subtly showing signs of uniting the 10,000 Ghost Kingdom. It seems our cooperation with the King of 10,000 Ghosts will soon collapse, Sol Yao, Master of the Dizzy Hall, added, his face grim. Moreover, the Soul Clan is extremely dissatisfied with our actions. They are subtly hinting at holding us accountable. Hall Master, what should we do? Sol Yao's face tightened, and he couldn't help but roar. It seems that the only way out now is to create a huge commotion in the Doyun continent, Sol Ming replied coldly. The Soul Clan will undoubtedly shift all blame onto us to clear their own names. The collection of faith power is nearly complete, and once it's done, I will lead you into that coveted realm. After that, our Soul Hall's army will return stronger than ever. Even the ancient 7 clans will be unable to stop us. Sol Ming sneered with a chilling laugh, clearly having already prepared an escape route. Create a commotion? Sol Yan, Sol Yao, you 2 must rush to the Holy See immediately and direct all the blame toward the Boundless Fire Domain. Only the Boundless Fire Domain can stir up a great uproar now. Sol Ming slowly smiled. But how do we create such an uproar? Sol Yan and Sol Yao exchanged a confused glance, not understanding the Hall Master's intent. This is a memory crystal recorded by a subordinate of the Soul Hall. It contains clear evidence of Xiao Yan killing powerful members of the Holy See and the Turing Angels. Sol Ming casually waved his hand, and a diamond-shaped gray crystal appeared before the 3 of them. Good. The 2 exchanged a look, then took the crystal and headed straight for the Holy See. Hall Master, this approach might be unwise. Sol Yuntian, master of the Tianzi Hall, spoke up, unable to hold back. Though the Holy Sea and the boundless fire domain are mortal enemies, sending them there could lead to disastrous consequences. The Soul Hall is the precursor of the Soul Clan. We worked tirelessly for them, and now they plan to sacrifice us to save themselves. But what they fail to remember is that over 70% of the faith power and soul essence is under my control, Sol Ming said coldly. Let's go. Even if there are sacrifices, once we overcome this disaster, our Soul Hall will be reborn and become the ultimate force. The combination of the power from faith and the origin of the soul, although not enough to cross reincarnation, was sufficient to grant him the qualifications to truly look down upon the world. Heh, Hun Ming, in such a hurry. Where are you heading? Just as the Lord of the Soul Hall and the leader of the Heavenly Hall were about to leave, the space around them suddenly shook violently. Ripples of energy appeared one after another, resembling cold, ghostly faces, making the entire space feel uneasy. Hun Tianhao, leader of the Soul Clan. Such a sharp nose. Looking at the sky above, the Lord of the Soul Hall, Hun Ming, murmured as he saw a dark shadow with a sinister smile, its voice like that of a demon. Touching reincarnation? The Lord of the Soul Hall, Hun Ming, laughed coldly, a tremendous fighting spirit emanating from his voice. He knew full well the intentions of the Soul Clan's leader coming here, to capture him and the high-ranking members of the Soul Hall, and deliver them to the Holy Sea, shifting all the blame for the Gu clan and others onto them. Even though the Soul Clan would suffer greatly, it would still be better than becoming the enemy of the Do-Di continent. Same to you. The leader of the Soul Clan's eyes turned deep, rays of cold light shooting from them like they were in an endless, frigid abyss, which made one shiver. You should know why I've come. Hand over the 70% of the faith power and soul origin you privately kept. If you do, I might consider making your death a bit more painless. Stepping forward, the leader of the Soul Clan was surrounded by countless eerie black mists, resembling a starry river, trapping the space completely. Dream on. The Lord of the Soul Hall roared, his body bursting with scorching black flames, which turned into a sky full of stars, directly launching toward the leader of the Soul Clan. The eternal nightmare demons are too wasteful in your hands. Hand them all over. A strange voice echoed, and instantly, the aura and voice of the Soul Clan leader changed, resembling an entirely different person. This new aura could only belong to the extraterritorial evil clan. At that moment, the Soul Clan leader's body began to swell violently, transforming into a blood-red clay figure. On the figure's body, a huge, demonic, dark character flickered, alive with power. This was the power of reincarnation. This madman, he's actually colluding with the extraterritorial evil clan. We've been deceived. Looking at the irrepressible blood-red clay figure before them, the Lord of the Soul Hall and the leader of the Heavenly Hall watched as their soul bodies slowly dissipated, countless powers being devoured. Hun Tianhao, you've done well. The extraterritorial evil clan will never mistreat you. With this faith power and soul origin, I will truly be able to push towards the evil god level. When my great work is done, I will ensure you receive supreme glory. Ha ha ha. A loud, sinister laugh echoed, and in an instant, all the power fled from the place. Whoosh whoosh. A mere Red King Peak Dark is not enough for me. I want more than just this. The Soul Hall's value has been exhausted. It shall disappear now. But the Soul Clan still has some use. The identity and body of the Soul Clan leader are exactly to my liking. Puppets, pawns, but in the end, who controls whom? As the blood-red clay figure, carrying the remaining 70% of the faith power and soul origin, departed, the Soul Clan leader murmured these words, and a faint pattern slowly appeared on his forehead. This pattern was closely linked to the so-called strongest in the center of the human realm. However, his words and identity didn't quite match, and it was unclear just what the mystery of the so-called Soul Clan leader's identity was. On the Doyun continent, where the ancient 7 great races stand, things were getting busy. As for Xiao Yan, he had spent a few days living the life of a couple as though they were immortal companions, thanks to Xun'er's company. However, Xiao Yan was unaware that a conspiracy targeting him and the boundless fire domain was slowly unfolding far away. On the Doyun continent, in the land of the Holy Sea, the Holy City. The Holy City was bathed in golden light, with a divine aura slowly filling the air. Whether in terms of defense or heritage, it could easily overpower the ancient 7 great races, serving as the dwelling place of the Holy See and the pilgrimage destination for countless believers. The Holy See had 2 main bases. Apart from the towering sky pillar, there was the Holy City. Inside the Holy City, it was the place where the Cardinal in Red, the Pope, and other powerful figures practiced. It was also the holy ground where countless strong believers of the Holy See prayed. The sky pillar was more of a place for handling criminals, imprisoning prisoners, and even judging the guilty. At that moment, deep within the Holy City, in a magnificent, golden and jade chapel, a middle-aged man with golden hair sat upright. His eyes flickered slightly, and a gleam of light shot from them, as dazzling as the moonlight, sending chills down one's spine. If Xiao Yan or Gu Abyss were present, they would be surprised to see that the middle-aged man was surrounded by a soft golden glow, like the first light of dawn. The sensation, the aura, was as if he were a god who had fallen from the heavens, his every thought and movement capable of stirring up a storm. This figure was none other than the strongest person stationed by the Holy See in the Doyun continent, a being who existed only in rumors within the Holy See, the Pope. The Pope's strength was unparalleled, even in the 4 continents of Do-Di. Had the Holy See not maintained a neutral stance, never interfering in the developments of the Do-Di continent, and focusing solely on protecting the Great Thousand Worlds, even the mighty ancient 7 clans would have had no choice but to bow and submit. The Pope's power had entered the reincarnation realm during the first heavenly battle. Now, after countless millennia, his strength must have reached an unimaginable level. His presence was like a dragon, elusive and unseen, and apart from the 3 cardinals in red, no one in the Holy See could trace his whereabouts. "Speak," the Pope said lazily, his golden hair cascading down like a waterfall, exuding an invisible yet overwhelming presence. "What is it that has forced you to summon me?" "Your Holiness, the Gu clan has been taken over by the extraterritorial evil clan, and the mastermind behind it is the Soul Clan's Soul Hall," said the messenger, his tone filled with urgency. "Additionally, according to my investigation, we have solid evidence showing that the Lord of the Boundless Fire Domain, Xiao Yan, is the one responsible for killing our Holy See's faith envoys and the roaming angels. This is a matter of great importance. I didn't inform the 3 cardinals in red, but directly requested your Holiness to step in and take charge." "I hope your Holiness," Lu Hao said, his voice trembling as he looked at the Pope, his body overtaken by a suffocating pressure. As the Son of Light, Lu Hao had an affinity for the light element stronger than almost anyone in the Great Thousand Worlds, but the mere residual aura emanating from the Pope made his heart race with unease. The Pope's true power. Crack. Just as Lu Hao finished speaking, the countless crystal vases and statues decorating the church shattered in an instant. The Pope's previously gentle smile froze, and an unprecedented killing intent surged, like the Milky Way rushing toward them. "Summon the 3 cardinals in red. This matter will require careful consideration. The dignity of the Holy See must not be desecrated, no matter who the culprit is." The Pope was clearly enraged, and the church reverberated with icy threads of energy. Without the protection of the Son of Light, Lu Hao would have been crushed by the sheer force. "Understood," Lu Hao replied with a faint smile. It was done. His plan had succeeded. After countless days and nights of investigation, they had gathered enough evidence. All the blame pointed to the Boundless Fire Domain and the Soul Hall of the Soul Clan. Now that the Pope had intervened, these forces were destined for destruction. Are we really going up like this? Isn't it a bit too reckless? After all, the relationship between the Soul Hall and the Holy See has never been good. The actions of the Hall Master might be somewhat improper. At this moment, Soul Flame and Soul Yao exchanged glances and stopped outside the Holy City. The Holy City was surrounded by sacred barriers, and once they stepped inside, without the approval of the Holy See's experts, there was no chance they would leave unscathed. The defensive power of the Holy City was enough to trap even those in the reincarnation realm, let alone 2 mere 8-star Do Xian cultivators. What are 2 of you doing sneaking around the Holy Sea's holy city? After a moment, a red-robed elder appeared like a ghost, approaching them silently, his hands lightly brushing against their bodies. He smiled and spoke. "Oh, it's the Cardinal in red. We come on the orders of the Hall Master to deliver something to you. These items, I believe, you will appreciate." Soul Yao and Soul Flame exchanged a look before taking out a memory crystal. Memory crystal? The Cardinal in red raised an eyebrow, and suddenly, a cold light flashed in his eyes. The 3 figures vanished and reappeared in a world of light. "Your Holiness, we mean no harm. These items are also under investigation by Lord Lu Hao. We are simply helping him gather some solid evidence. The memory crystal cannot be faked. It contains the memories of the true culprit behind the roaming angel's deaths. Please take a look," Soul Flame said, handing over the memory crystal. However, he and Soul Yao exchanged a knowing glance, clearly preparing to escape. After all, they had no chance against the Cardinal in red, a reincarnation-level being. "I'll take a look." After confirming the 2 had no ill intent, the Cardinal in red accepted the crystal and began to view it quietly. Whoosh! As the Cardinal in red focused on the memory crystal, Soul Yao and Soul Flame used all their strength to escape from the Cardinal's barrier. But when they returned to report to the Soul Hall, what awaited them was a deadly purge by the Holy Sea. To think it was Xiao Yan, the Lord of the Boundless Fire Domain, who killed the roaming angels. The descendants of the Xiao Clan truly have an immense reputation. Although there are some hidden forces protecting the Boundless Fire Domain, throughout history, no one has ever killed an angel of the Holy Sea. Hee. A wave of killing intent surged, filling the air. Then, the memory crystal also flooded into the higher-ups of the Holy Sea's vision. A covert operation against the Endless Fire Domain and the annihilation of the Soul Hall had begun. However, it must be said that the Soul Clan leader's trick of shifting the blame was successful. Countless crimes were shifted onto the Endless Fire Domain and the Soul Hall. The Soul Hall was completely destroyed by the Holy Sea, and as for the Endless Fire Domain, it would likely face a fierce battle. In the Gu Clan's realm, Ancient Sky City, it had been over a month since the Gu Clan had returned to normal. On the surface, the clan appeared peaceful, but a series of measures taken in secret had stabilized the clan. The core leaders were very aware that immense, unimaginable changes had taken place within the clan. After surviving the recent catastrophe, the entire Gu Clan had become more united. In Ancient Sky City, Gu Clan's ancestral residence, everyone has arrived. Father, Senior Gu Yuan, Senior Supreme Heavenly Emperor. In the serene, deep ancestral residence, Xiao Yan smiled, holding Xun'er's delicate hand. A month had passed, giving Xiao Yan ample time for rest. However, he was well aware that the immediate task was not about romance. The resurrection technique Su Xiao had originally used, along with the calamity the Gu Clan had just experienced, suggested that the Soul Hall and the extraterritorial evil clan's evil grasp might extend beyond just the Gu Clan. Moreover, the Yao Clan's grand ceremony was approaching, and Xiao Yan knew he would soon be busy again. The Yao Clan grand ceremony was bound to be a sensational event that would shake the entire Do D continent. If Xiao Yan could make a significant impact there, it would be a chance to expand the reputation of the Endless Fire Domain and lay the groundwork for unifying the entire Do D continent in the future. For Xiao Yan, although his soul power was formidable, his alchemy skills had fallen behind. The Yao Clan Grand Ceremony was a must-attend event. "You two have really done the Gu Clan a great service these days," Gu Yuan said with a smile, clearly speaking from the heart. Xiao Yan, whether it was when he ventured into the ancient abyss alone, or when he played a life-or-death chess game with the demonic scholar, had shown extraordinary courage and strength. His bravery and leadership made him a true hero, and later, he even helped Xun'er with all matters concerning the Gu Clan. Some of these tasks, even Gu Yuan found troublesome, but Xiao Yan handled them with ease. If it weren't for Xiao Yan's special identity, I would have definitely pulled him into the Gu Clan long ago, Gu Yuan added with a laugh. "You brat, but you haven't lost out, right?" Gu Yuan grinned and scolded. Xiao Yan had now become a legendary figure in the Gu clan, holding a unique status. To make up for his efforts, the Gu clan's Do Technique Pavilion had made an exception and opened its doors to him. Over the past month, Xun'er accompanied him to delve deeper into the pavilion, and, remarkably, he obtained 2 volumes of Do skills. The Do Technique Pavilion had a long history, housing many rare and powerful techniques. Only those who had achieved great merit could enter. It was said that a person could only acquire 1 volume of Do skill after a year's time. But Xiao Yan had obtained 2, 1 fire-type and 1 wood-type technique. Such treasures, if taken to any part of the Do D continent, would surely cause an uproar. Yet, Gu Yuan could only give a bitter smile about it. Hee, Xiao Yan also smiled, making it clear with his expression that he had helped the Gu clan solve many problems, so getting a little reward wasn't too much to ask. Even though the Yao Clan Grand Ceremony is an enormous event for the entire Do D continent, the 4 continents are currently divided. Only the geniuses of the Doyun continent are likely to gather there. The ancient 7 clans each have truly talented geniuses, and with their foundation, this will surely be a grand event. It will be a real test for you young elites, Gu Yuan said, his eyes filled with heat. If he were younger, he wouldn't miss such an event. But as for Xiao Yan, even Gu Yuan couldn't predict what would happen next. Senior Gu Yuan, what do you mean by that? Xiao Yan asked quickly. The old man was hinting at something, and this time, the Yao Clan Grand Ceremony seemed to be far from simple. Now that the Gu clan's catastrophe is over, to stabilize things internally and prevent the extraterritorial evil clan from making a comeback, we won't attend the Yao Clan Grand Ceremony. We will, however, keep a close eye on the Soul Clan, the Holy Sea, and the Endless Fire Domain. If we receive any news, we will inform you immediately, Gu Yuan said seriously. Thank you for your trouble. Upon hearing Gu Abyss' words, Xiao Yan immediately cupped his hands in gratitude. With Gu Abyss' nod, the entire Gu clan would, by extension, lean completely toward the boundless fire domain. However, to forge a strong weapon, one must first become strong oneself. The next crucial time was Xiao Yan's final opportunity to increase his strength. Xiao Yan had a foreboding feeling that the next great war of heaven and earth was not far off. Before that battle, he needed to have the power to protect his family and friends. Let Xun'er accompany you, said the Supreme Heavenly Emperor, patting Xiao Yan on the shoulder. Of course. Xun'er responded with a bright smile, her beautiful eyes flashing with delight. In truth, it had been decided in secret by Xun'er and many powerful figures of the Gu clan that she would go with Xiao Yan to the Yao clan's grand event. In the end, under Xun'er's strong request, only she and Xiao Yan would go. This consideration was not only due to the current situation of the Gu clan, but also due to Xun'er's own subtle thoughts. I was planning to give this to Xun'er later, but since the time to part is near, I won't hide it any longer. Here, this is the Gu clan's summoning order, which only the clan leader of the Gu clan can hold. Wherever you are, as long as this token is shattered, our Gu clan's experts will break through the void and come to your aid. You are now the Gu clan's leader, with a special identity. You cannot afford to lose anything. Furthermore, any orders you give will be unquestioned by the experts of the Gu clan. Seeing that he wasn't entirely sure about Xiao Yan and Xun'er going together, Gu Abyss looked at Xun'er, his gaze firming. He handed over a silver token engraved with the Gu clan insignia. The silver token was palm-sized, and it emitted an ancient fragrance. The token's surface was also carved with special patterns of Gu clan power. Thank you. Thank you, Senior, Xun'er said, extending her delicate hand to carefully accept the token. During my absence, I entrust the care of the boundless fire domain to you. Seniors, Xiao Yan said, looking at the 3 figures. All right, no more fussing. Go now. The Supreme Heavenly Emperor and Gu Yuan exchanged a glance and smiled. Let's go. Xiao Yan, acting like a gentleman, gently took Xun'er's hand. Together, they rose into the air, looking like a newlywed couple as they saluted the 3 figures and sped away, heading toward the ancient realm. Their destination was none other than the Yao clan's grand event. That Xiao Yan fellow was a gifted alchemist in the lower realms. I hope he will shine even brighter this time, Gu Yuan said with a satisfied smile. The Supreme Heavenly Emperor and Gu Abyss, hearing this, had their smiles slowly fade. Sacred Flame, a descendant of the Xiao Clan, Lord of the Boundless Fire Domain, and now, an alchemist as well? This realization left them stunned. Xiao Yan seemed far too terrifying for their liking. On the Doyun continent, the territories of the ancient seven clans stood tall. Their vast domains, stretching far and wide, seemed to form a hidden, massive seven-pointed star formation, though its significance remained unclear. The Yao Clan was an extremely ancient and revered race. While it might not seem particularly impressive when compared to other dominant forces, the mere status of being an alchemist granted it immense respect from countless powerful beings. Consequently, the advanced alchemy techniques of the Yao Clan were unrivaled. Within the Yao Clan, the core members mainly focused on alchemy, supplemented by soul cultivation. Many of them had achieved the 7-star Docian or even 8-star strength. However, despite their formidable power, most of them were not battle-hardened warriors, but rather high-level alchemists. A high-level alchemist alone could be the object of covetous attention from various forces. The widespread fame of this profession was the fundamental reason for the Yao Clan's lasting prosperity. Even more rumors circulated that the Yao Clan was the second most powerful race among the 8 ancient races, with the Xiao Clan possibly holding the top position. The Yao Clan's headquarters was located in the northernmost part of the Xinling mountain range on the Doyun continent. The Xinling mountain range was a vast, towering mountain range, positioned at the highest point of the Doyun continent. This place was rich in celestial energy, with treasures of all kinds constantly appearing. Medicinal herbs, magical beasts, and Yao Clan members coexisted in harmony, though the region was also home to dangerous insects and perilous natural barriers. Without the hand tokens of Yao Clan experts, one could easily meet their end here. The Xinling mountain range was the top spiritual vein on the Doyun continent, where countless celestial energies converged. This made it the #1 spiritual vein on the Dodi continent and a place abundant with medicinal materials, which is why the Yao Clan had claimed it as their domain. This alone demonstrated the Yao Clan's immense wealth and power, as such a prime spiritual vein could not be acquired simply with riches. It required unmatched strength as well. Xiao Yan, we're almost within the borders of the Yao Clan's Xinling mountain range. With the Yao Clan's grand event about to begin, powerful beings from all sides are converging here. The Yao Clan's guards will be responsible for welcoming us. Do you know what level of apothecary rank Xiao Yan has reached now? Xun'er asked with a smile, slightly turning her body and placing her hands behind her back. After leaving the Gu clan, the two of them had lowered their auras. Xiao Yan's strength was at the late 7-star Docian stage, which most people probably wouldn't detect, especially with Xun'er holding the reincarnation seal. With her sacred flame and strength in the mid-8-star Docian stage, it was even harder for ordinary people to notice. The Apothecary Clan's grand ceremony, held once every 100 years, was an ancient tradition passed down through generations. It was the most grand event in the clan, where each time, top experts from across the Dodi continent were invited to witness the birth of the continent's #1 apothecary. The ceremony would determine who would be crowned the top apothecary on the continent. Moreover, highly talented and respected figures would also be invited. Of course, due to the Apothecary Clan's confidence in their apothecary skills, anyone who was an apothecary at the 4th grade immortal level or above could attend, even if they were unknown. As long as they held an apothecary medal, they could participate. The Apothecary Clan was proud of this ability. For over the past several thousand years, the #1 apothecary had always come from their ranks, and they had won the title 9 times in a row. It was an opportunity for the clan to show off their strength. Thus, the Apothecary Clan's grand ceremony was one of the most popular events in the Doyun continent, attracting not only powerful lords and kings, but also top forces from all around. The invitation from the Apothecary Clan, Xiao Yan said, shaking his head. The invitation from the Boundless Fire Domain had been left behind in the rush, and so had the one from the Gu clan. It seemed like Gu Abyss had done that on purpose. I do have the apothecary medal, but it's at a lower rank. Xiao Yan scratched his head, seemingly embarrassed. His apothecary medal was still at the 4th grade immortal rank, but his spiritual power had already far surpassed this level. The Apothecary Clan's grand ceremony is in a few days. We can first visit Pilking City and, while we're there, get your Apothecary medal upgraded to match your current strength. A higher level medal will be very useful here. Whether it's participating in the Apothecary Clan's auctions or purchasing useful herbs and weapons, having a high-level medal gives you unique advantages, Xun'er said with a smile, revealing her small tiger teeth. It seemed that during their month in the Gu clan, she had gathered quite a bit of information about the Apothecary Clan. All right, let's go, Xiao Yan agreed, and the two of them made their way towards the spirit-concealing mountain range. Around 3 hours later, the two arrived at the base of the spirit-concealing mountain range. The vastness of the area exceeded Xiao Yan's expectations. Looking up, even Xiao Yan couldn't help but gasp in amazement. He had never seen mountains like this before, brimming with such rich natural energy. Layers of mist enveloped the mountain range, with ethereal fairy-like energy surrounding the area, creating a tranquil and secluded paradise. There was also a faint, alluring fragrance drifting through the air, refreshing the mind. Xiao Yan, however, knew that it was the fragrance of medicinal pills being refined, and the grade of the pills was not low. No wonder it's called the Spirit-Concealing Mountain Range, Xiao Yan murmured in awe. The Spirit-Concealing Mountain Range has been nurtured by generations of powerful figures from the Apothecary Clan. It is said that once, a powerful member of the Apothecary Clan infused spiritual medicine into the mountains, turning the entire range into a treasure chest. Staying here for long periods can extend one's lifespan, and the mountain is filled with rare heavenly materials and earthly treasures. It's a holy land that countless apothecaries dream of, Xun'er explained with a smile. In front is Pilking City, a city built specifically by the Apothecary Clan to host and entertain top experts from all around. The city houses the most authoritative appraisers, and more than 70% of the top apothecaries on the entire continent come from the Apothecary Clan. Though the Apothecary Clan's overall fighting strength may be one of the weakest among the ancient 7 clans, the existence of so many skilled apothecaries has granted them an enormous network of connections. They have become one of the few forces that can secretly challenge the Holy See, Xun'er continued to explain patiently. Challenge the Holy See? It seems like the ancient 7 clans and the Holy See don't get along very well? Xiao Yan asked. The Holy See's powerful figures follow their own unique set of beliefs, and they don't distinguish between right and wrong. Once you touch their bottom line, they'll eliminate you in secret. Once, a top apothecary from the continent angered the Holy See and was secretly killed. Even the Apothecary Clan had to endure it at the time, but the hatred grew deeper and deeper. It's not just the Apothecary Clan. There have been many major frictions between the ancient 7 clans and the Holy See, Xun'er added. Let's go. We'll first get your Apothecary medal assessed in Pilking City, Xiao Yan said as he led Xun'er forward. Xiao Yan and Xun'er walked slowly towards the mountains. Within the spirit-concealing mountain range, streams appeared everywhere, glowing faintly with mysterious lights, indicating the entrance to Pilking City. Without hesitation, the two stepped into one of the streams. A strong, eerie glow enveloped them, and moments later, a massive stone gate appeared in front of them. The stone gate appeared solid, with green energy wriggling on it in a mysterious manner. Creak. Xiao Yan gently pushed the gate, and immediately, it opened. An ancient, rich medicinal aroma emanated from within, filling the air with fragrance. Stop! After the light dissipated, a team of 5 appeared neatly behind the gate. The leader sternly addressed Xiao Yan and Xun'er. 1 7-star Do Xian leading the group, and 4 6-star Do Xian. The Yao Clan truly spares no expense for the grand ceremony. Xiao Yan nodded slightly, observing the guards, who stood as still as statues, radiating a severe aura. He and Xun'er immediately stood still. To have 7-star Do Xian as gatekeepers, only a powerful clan like the Yao Clan could afford such authority. We've come to attend the Yao Clan's grand ceremony. Xiao Yan took a step forward and spoke. Please present your invitation or Alchemist rank badge. The captain of the guards replied, following the usual procedure. The Yao Clan's grand ceremony was the most important event in a century, and it must be tightly guarded. If any uninvited guests slipped in and disrupted the event, it would be disastrous. No invitation, and I forgot my alchemist badge in my haste. Xiao Yan apologized with a slight smile. In that case, you may have to leave. The Yao Clan's grand ceremony is no trivial matter, and only those with verified identities may enter. Wait, this power. Master, please come in. The captain's expression changed when he sensed the immense soul power emanating from Xiao Yan, a dazzling force comparable to the full moon, cascading like a river. The terrifying soul power made even the captain, a 7-star Do Xian, feel uneasy. The status of an alchemist was high, but soul power was crucial for high-ranking alchemists. The soul power Xiao Yan displayed far surpassed that of ordinary alchemists, even rivaling some of the clan elders, prompting the captain to change his tone. Now, may we enter? Xiao Yan withdrew his soul power and gently spoke to Xun'er, unflustered but softly, knowing that after the earlier display, the guards would no longer dare to underestimate them. Please come in. Beyond this stone gate lies Peking City. Some of our special attendants will be there to guide you. Regardless of whether you're a powerful figure from a major faction or a participant in the ceremony, the Yao Clan will give you the warmest welcome. Good luck in your endeavors. By the way, Master, Peking City has the most authoritative alchemist ranking on the continent. If you have time, you may want to get assessed. High-ranking alchemists enjoy many privileges within the Yao Clan. As Xiao Yan and Xun'er disappeared, the captain added, Xiao Yan nodded lightly and took Xun'er, stepping past the stone gate towards Peking City. Such an extraordinary person. All right, stop looking. Others are heroes too. If they win the beauty's heart, it's only natural. We need to strengthen our defenses. We mustn't slack off. After all, the last ceremony was disrupted by some scoundrels. We can't afford any accidents this time. With that, everything returned to calm. Buzz buzz. After a few minutes, the long passageway ended, and a pale white halo appeared. Xiao Yan and Xun'er lightly landed in a vast plaza. The plaza was entirely green, clearly made from extraordinary materials, and white beams of light surged through the space. These were the various powerful figures and participants who had come to Peking City. Masters, I am your guide in Peking City, codename 12580. During the grand ceremony, if you need anything, feel free to ask, a young man with a warm smile said as soon as Xiao Yan and Xun'er arrived. His presence felt like a breath of fresh air, very welcoming. The young man looked innocent and appeared quite young, even though his strength had just barely reached Do Xian. But this was a common sight in the Yao Clan, where all resources were poured into the most talented individuals. The rest, whether direct descendants or commoners, were assigned to daily tasks like these. 12580? The two exchanged puzzled glances. Now, according to the registration records, there have been 12,579 people before the two of you, so you two are naturally number 12,580, the young man patiently explained. This young man has just reached the level of Do Xian, but it seems that something within him is sealed. From my perception, the sealed thing is likely a form of power. Such an enormous power shouldn't reside within such a weak individual. Strange, Xiao Yan couldn't help but comment. Moreover, he isn't wearing the attire of the Yao Clan. There are even terrifying wounds beneath his clothes. This isn't simple. Xiao Yan couldn't help but give the young man such a remark. Such a grand ceremony. Xun'er's beautiful eyes flickered as she smiled sweetly. What an imposing Peking City. Standing in the middle of the square, Xiao Yan looked up at the massive city right before him. He couldn't help but feel insignificant, like an ant. Peking City was unlike any other city. Its structure resembled a treasure bottle gourd, and all around it, exquisite houses glittered with the faint glow of oil lamps. Even from the bottom of the bottle, the sounds of bustling markets and lively chatter echoed. Even so, the faint, hidden auras within this bottle-like Peking City made Xiao Yan's heart race. That kind of power could easily be at the 8-star Do Xian level, or even stronger. Among the ancient races, a 7-star Do Xian would already be considered a young genius, and that would be based on the foundation of their race's natural talent. The 8-star Do Xian, however, represented true, solid foundation. Young brother, Could you take us to the Alchemist Association? After observing the whole city, Xun'er smiled and asked, "The Alchemist Association. This way." The young man gestured with his hand, saying nothing more and walking toward the other side of the square. However, his innocent, childish face turned as red as a cherry, for someone of his low status had never seen someone as stunning as Xun'er. Despite Xun'er's best efforts to hide her beauty, after acquiring the sacred flame and reincarnation seal, she seemed to have become even more enchanting. "Hey, isn't that Yao Ceremony?" Just as the young man was leading Xiao Yan and Xun'er away, several unfriendly gazes from the square were cast upon them. "This is bad, my lords. You must leave quickly." Hearing that familiar voice, the young man's body shuddered as if struck by an electric shock. It seemed that the voice's owner instilled some fear in him. His expression turned serious as he urgently spoke to Xiao Yan and Xun'er. "Don't worry, let's just play with them," Xiao Yan said as he placed a hand on the young man's shoulder.